A lot of the funny stuff I said tonight I have to cut out. They cut the bazookas, they gotta leave the pistols.
Jeez. I love pork. That's all I need to... Yeah, I would love that. 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Geek-Cetera. In this episode, Kyle goes to the Upside Down. Luke is gone, yet again. But Chase fills in. And I get pumped for Rhode Island Comic-Con. Now, let's get geeky. In our first segment of the show, where we get to talk about the things that we did last week, where we'll spend a few moments just talking about what we've done since the last episode. And we're going to start with you, Kyle. What stuff have you been up to?
Well, I feel like it's been a long time in between episodes, even though we did one with the girls. There's just been a lot of time since we had a real Geek-Cetera podcast. So there's so much to talk about, but I'm only actually going to hit on two things.
Oh, wow.
The first thing is I hiked a mountain. It's like maybe a mile and a half from here. And on the way down, me and Jared, if you remember Jared from a previous podcast, we were with our wives, and we found a geocache. We weren't even looking for it. But Jared was just like, hey, I think that's a geocache. And it was. So we opened it up, and we were, you sign it and you leave something. So I left a pen, and I signed it Geek-Cetera and gave our email address and our website. Hopefully we'll get some listeners from that.
That would be cool. Did you leave a business card? Did you have
No, I was thinking I would hike back up there and leave a business card, but that's a lot of effort.
For one listener.
If it's the mountain that I'm thinking of, it's not a very intense hike.
Well, you know what? It's still a lot of effort. Maybe I'll do that someday. And I have the energy.
You can also thank me for that, because my family's the one who taught Jared about geocaching.
Oh, really?
We used to bring him all the time when we were kids.
Huh.
I'm kind of actually surprised, because you don't hear about geocaching as much anymore. But I guess there are still some people that do it.
I miss it, honestly. It was a lot of fun. And it was a great excuse to go on a hike.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would notice, like if I saw something out of the blue, I wouldn't think, hey, that's a geocache. I'd be like, why did someone leave some trash over here?
Yeah.
But is it that noticeable? Like it was obvious what it was?
Yeah. And I like I said, Jared saw it, but once he pointed it out, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It was pretty obvious. It was just hidden behind a rock or something.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Sometimes they don't get hidden as good when somebody finds them as when they were originally hidden.
Yeah. But I was excited about that, and it was pretty cool. And then secondly, I am a forgetful person, and I don't know if anyone is aware of that. I mean, I've told the muffin story, but a couple weeks ago, before we even recorded the last podcast with the girls, I had gone out to a restaurant with my wife, and at the end of the meal, I wasn't feeling great. So I said, hey, I'm not feeling very good. Do you have money to cover this? I gotta go. And she was like, yeah, no big deal. So I got up and I walked out and I drove home. And I left her there.
How do you forget a wife?
Well, so you left your wife at the restaurant.
Yes.
And you made sure she had the cash to cover for your sorry pathetic self, and then you left her there.
Yeah. Now I'll give you a little bit of background. We take separate cars very frequently. Just last night we took separate cars to our place of worship, and she had gone home, and I was looking for her. I spent like 10 minutes looking for her. Like, hey, where's my? And I realized, oh yeah, we took separate cars, and I drove home. The other thing is her parents were out with us, so they brought her home. So it wasn't like a big deal, but it could have been a big deal if we were out with another couple or friends that don't live very far close, but it was her parents. And I was at home, and I was laying down, and she came in, and she was like, yeah, mom and dad dropped me off. I was like, what do you mean they dropped you off? You didn't have a car?
See, I was picturing this romantic like evening, just you two. And you're like, oh, I don't feel too good. You get the money to pick up for this, and then you just take off. And she's just sitting there at the table, stranded at the restaurant. Has to call a cab.
Yeah, thankfully that didn't happen, but clearly there's potential. There's potential for that.
So we've learned a lot about you in the last couple weeks. We've learned that you're forgetful. You forget where you put your breakfast. We learn
Forget where you put
that,
your wife.
Your grandmother, when she's standing on solid ground, looks like she's in a canoe. Or standing in a canoe. Yeah. That she also tries to take on farm animals.
Yep.
And now that you also leave your wife. And that you make your wife pay, which is, I know you're married, and most likely the money comes out of the same spot, but it's, I think chivalry in your instance, Kyle, is dead.
Yes. She holds the door, she does this, she does that.
You are making a lot of fine points now. I'm not going to argue with you
And
whatsoever.
then, wait, I just thought of something else. And we also learned that you think women are evil. So...
Oh, this is true. I forgot about that one.
Well, men are also evil, but for very different reasons.
Where's your mathematical equation for that, Kyle?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we always push for equality in the world and in the workplace. So if men are equal to women, men are evil.
Okay,
I suppose.
there you go.
I'm not going to push him any further because he's going to get...
He's going to say something that gets us taken off.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have no female listeners after this.
We have no listeners after this.
True. So, what else do you have, Kyle?
That's it.
That's it. You forgot your wife and you found a geocache. Very good.
Yeah.
What about you, Chase?
So it's been a couple weeks since I've been on the podcast. One is that my friends and I started watching Lost together. It's a great show. I love that show.
We'll see if you feel that way at the end.
Oh no, I've seen it. So
What? You've already seen it and you're watching it again?
3 of us have seen it before, and we're watching it with our one friend who hasn't seen it before. So it's hilarious because some of these moments that you kind of shocked you the first time. You know that they're coming, and so we'll all kind of like try and sneak looks at him just to see how he reacts to it. His reactions are pretty priceless. It's a lot of fun. So we try and do that once a week, and just binge 3, 4, 5 episodes.
I wonder if he's still going to be your friend when you get to the end. Or if he's going to be like, you guys are terrible, you made me watch this whole thing.
No, he'll be fine. He'll be good. He likes Doctor Who. He's used to it. And then I've been to a couple of...
Well, hang on a second.
Oh, I'm holding on a second.
I don't know how you can watch it a second time, all the way through.
You mean watch it a third time, all the way through?
Sorry, third time. Because, look, I was a Lost fan, and I don't know, I may not have said this, but being a podcaster, first-time podcaster, I don't listen to podcasts. I have listened to one podcast faithfully in my life, and that was the Lost podcast with Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse after every new episode of Lost dropped. So that's how kind of dedicated I was to the show and how much I loved the show. And I don't think I could ever go back and watch it again. Yeah,
I kind of agree to a certain extent with that. I mean, early episodes were really good, but the end, it really, really didn't. Knowing that was going to be the end and that's what you were working up to, it'd be tough.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, because I have 3 modes. I have something where I go crazy about it, and that's, Psych. I would watch that. I would binge watch the entire series every week if I had that ability. And there's shows where after episode 1, I'm just like, no thanks. And then everything else, I don't really, as long as it doesn't, turn me off, then I don't care, and I could just watch it again and not really have a strong opinion. Same way about movies, too. If somebody puts on a movie and it's like, meh, I'll sit there and watch it. But if it's something that within like the first minute I'm like, meh, no, then I'm not gonna bother with it. But since Lost was something that I stuck through the first time, it doesn't really bother me to stick through it again.
Okay, fair enough.
Anything else you did, Chase?
Yeah, I went to a couple of fairs. So up in New Hampshire, we have the Deerfield Fair. That's a pretty big one. Went to that opening night with some friends, and then somehow ended up there the next day with a different group of friends.
Really?
And then this most past week, I went to the Topsfield Fair with a different group of friends again. So the one thing I can say from this is I like hanging out with my friends. I hate fairs. It's just
they are kind of all the same.
They're all the same, and they're all expensive, and they all require cash, and I never have cash. The Topsfield Fair is very expensive. It costs $35 to get in because it costs $10 for parking, and then $25. It costs $10 for parking and then $15 to get in. The Deerfield Fair was only $10 to get in, but still, that was whatever. And then if you want to buy something simple like a bottle of water, it's $3. If you want to go on any of the rides, that's $5 per ride. I'm like, goodness. If I wanted to actually go on rides that, I thought were going to kill me, I would go to, Canopy Lake and just not strap in. Like, it's... I can go there for an entire day and get my my death-defying thrills in for less than it costs to go on, 2 or 3 of the rides at a fair.
Yeah.
That have been maintenanced once and get operated for 1 week out of an entire year.
Yeah.
So...
I do like going to fairs, but I don't go very often, especially now that I try to watch what I eat. Basically, the only reason I found to go to fairs, because I would never go on those rides, was to eat all the junk food that they have. And there's a ton of junk food at fairs.
Yes, there is.
I think there's usually that booth that is just frying everything that's possible to fry.
Yep,
And
we went past it. They had fried Snickers, fried Oreos, fried Milky Ways. They did a fried peanut butter jelly. There was fried ice cream. Just anything.
yeah, so
It's
it's just not a great place to eat good. So yeah, I don't really go there too often, but they are fun. My wife likes going.
Okay.
yeah, it was fun to walk around. It's fun when all my friends were the ones spending money on like the carnival-y games that I could just sit back and watch, and I didn't have to waste my own money.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, my wife and her sister like to go to the fairs and eat the food. Now, the food is okay, but they get excited about things like big donuts that cost you $4.
Wait, they have a donut place at the Deerfield Fair, anyways, that makes like fresh, hot apple cider donuts, and
Fresh
they're
hot apple cider donuts,
so good. They're
The
really
line
delicious.
the line was crazy for that when we
Yeah.
went. It was huge. And it smelled amazing, but
Yeah. Oh no,
it was-
you
I'm like, literally, you
You
had
gotta
to
get
wait in a line for an hour for a donut.
really. Yeah, that's annoying. But I love those donuts.
Well, okay, apple cider donuts are one thing, but we're talking about just the big ones that, like, they're Dunkin' Donuts quality, and you could probably go get a...
Oh really?
Yeah, they're just big chocolate frosted donuts. Like, and it's like, why? Why did we pay extra money to come in here and overpay for a big donut?
Yep.
Because you're at the fair, and that's what you do at the fair.
Okay, but no, that's what you do at the fair. The last time I went to the fair was like 2 years ago. We went to a tent that were selling, not even kidding you, cassette tapes of 90s country music. That's what you're getting at the
awesome.
fair. You're paying an entry fee to go get hosed.
For a flea market.
Well,
Yeah.
the pickup truck probably only has a cassette tape deck, so you got to get the cassette tape.
You're right. But anyways, that's why I just don't love the fair. Some of the food is
Yeah,
okay.
But
I
it's
would go to the
overpriced.
Biggie.
All of it's overpriced.
The Biggie is my fair. If I was going to the fair, that's where I'd go.
Yeah, my wife grew up in Western Mass, so she's all about the Big E. We've never gone since we've been married. We're gonna be married 14 years this November, and I've never gone. But she talks about if you like fair so much, you got to go to the Big E. So eventually we'll go down there, but we haven't been since we've been married. I really wanted to go to the Deerfield Fair this year, but we just never got to it. Our schedule didn't allow, unfortunately.
I went twice, once for you and once for me.
Oh, perfect. What in the world?
Sorry, my bad. I bought a bag of the chocolate covered popcorn at the store today because they're selling that. It's getting towards holidays, so that's what I'm eating.
Did you bring enough for everyone?
You could have bought that at a fair, Kyle, and you could have spent $10 more on it.
That is true. Yeah, but at the fair, it would have bacon bits in it, I bet.
I did have chocolate covered bacon. That is one thing that I got at the fair.
We've had that before at the fair.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah, I got to admit, I love bacon. I love chocolate. Would not eat them together.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
didn't think it was the best thing. Like
Basically, the bacon just gets drowned out, and then you just have weird consistency chocolate.
Yeah. I agree.
It's sad.
Anything else, Chase?
I've spent some time playing video games. We played Frisbee and football. I played with Kyle last week. That was fun. But other than that, not much anything else.
Cool. So I got a few things that I did I finished Star Wars Aftermath. I know last episode that we recorded, I had mentioned that I was close to finishing it. I did finish it, and I also finished Thrawn, which was really good. It took me a little while to get into, but after a little while, I got sucked in pretty hard and finished it pretty quickly. But I know we're going to talk about that more because Luke finished it, and I believe you finished it as well, Kyle. So we kind of want to pick an episode maybe coming up where we talk about that book as a part of our great debate, because I do have some stuff to say about the book.
Okay.
But I know good. Chase didn't read it, so.
No.
So let's back up then. Go to Life Debt, because we had talked previously, I think it was our last episode.
Yeah.
You,
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say that I jumped the gun on something that I thought happened.
Yeah, so I just want to know, what did you think of how that whole book ended? Because it was a slow start. It was a slow start to that book. It was a lot of build-up, but then it finished fast and was fast-paced, and I thought it ended well. But I want to know what you thought, because I know there were some ideas you had about the book that didn't end up being true.
Yeah, so, okay, I'll get into what I thought. I will start by saying that spoilers lie ahead, just in case anyone is planning on reading Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt. You might not want to listen to this. I agree. You know, I listened to the first one, and I read the first one, and I listened to the second one, and I do like the characters, but there's one thing I noticed about Chuck Wendig as a writer. He tends to be a little bit more gruff, and his style of writing, he gets into things that I don't necessarily think are Star Wars. Like, Star Wars never really gets into sex or any of that stuff. It never does. None of the movies do, and so he gets into that a little bit more than I'd care. Like, there's some stuff going on with Gallus Rax and even Sloane's like second in command, I forget her name.
Oh, yeah.
You get the idea that they're like in this kind of, he's not forcing, but like, yeah, it was kind of forcing himself on her. And she's putting up with it and dealing with it just because he's this powerful guy, even though you get the idea that she's not into this relationship. And then one of the main characters in the book, his relationship is really brought out a lot, which I don't care if these people have this stuff going on and alluding to it even, but I don't know. I don't like sex in my Star Wars. Just keep that out. It's just, and Timothy Zahn doesn't really do that at all in the Thrawn book.
No.
And so that's what I would say. I also feel like, even though I've read 2 of these books now, I'm not super invested in any of the characters.
Yep, I agree with that.
Would you? Yeah, okay. And then the other thing I would say is that Sloane character, man, is she unkillable?
I think so.
Because, and again, I guess I already warned about spoilers, but she falls from a catwalk, lands on another catwalk. You basically think she's dead several times throughout the book, but she's never dead, and she constantly comes back. It was driving me crazy.
But if you watched Rogue One, you'd know catwalks don't kill.
I know, yeah. Well, it was just driving me crazy. It's like, kill this lady off already. I'm kind of done with the character, And I know that's terrible to say you want someone to die, but like, this character is just enough already. And I can see exactly how they set up for Empire's End. I haven't listened to Empire's End yet or started it, but I imagine that's just going to continue through Empire's End until maybe she eventually gets it at the end of Empire's End, because that's the end of the trilogy. But it's not my favorite, but I'm listening to it. You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
I'm trying to get through it.
And I agree with you with the characters. Like, I tried really hard to identify with Snaps Temin.
Yeah.
Because I know that he's a character that we see in The Force Awakens, but I couldn't really get into it. I like Wedge. Wedge. I really like. I won't get into his relationships in that book, but I liked Wedge. But he's a character that we know. The only person that I really liked, and
let's see if you're going to say the same one as I'm thinking.
And I can't even think of her name, but the Zabrak character, the bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, Jazz.
Right, Jazz.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bones was funny.
Yeah,
but
that's my favorite. Mr. Bones is probably my favorite character in the book.
He's an admitted retread of HK-47.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, except he's a clone. Well, he was not a clone, what do you call it? A droid, a separate
Yeah, he's a
droid,
B1.
a battle droid. Yeah. I think he's my favorite character because he's like the wild card. You never know what he's going to do. The other thing, too, is, and again, I hope you're not listening if you plan on reading this because this is really a big spoiler, but for most of the first book, or all the first book and most of the second book, you think that Snap's father's gone, he's dead or something, and they finally rescue him halfway through this life debt. And I kind of knew early on with his interactions, I wasn't surprised with what happened there, with the outcome of that.
Me neither. But you know what?
I was kind of expecting it. Like, this is all some kind of plan. I wasn't fooled by that. It didn't catch me by surprise. So I like to be caught by surprise sometimes, and that didn't happen with that one. So that's all I got to say about Life Debt. I don't know if you wanted me to say something more.
Yeah, because
I didn't get into the whole thing with Sloane. I thought Sloane was going to be the turncoat or the one that the traitor. You said it was Gallus Rax. I might have missed that. Again, I was listening at work, and when you're listening at work, sometimes it's hard to give your full attention to it.
Right.
And I'm also wondering if that's something that's coming in Empire's End, and you're thinking it was in Life Debt.
Oh, okay.
Because there wasn't anything so far as to clearly say it was not Sloane and that it was Gallus Rax.
Huh.
So, but that might be in Life Debt.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. So, or not Life Debt, Empire's End. So, like I said, finished Thrawn. If you listen to episode 6.5, if not, that was kind of a bonus episode. Kyle, myself, my wife, and Kyle's wife, Sarah, got an opportunity to go to Granite Con in Manchester, New Hampshire. And we did a whole episode on that called episode 6.5. And that was a blast. We had a ton of fun. Really great time.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I would check out that episode. I feel like we had, for someone who's never been to a Comic-Con, even a small one, you might be interested in seeing what Sarah and our reactions were like. But also, if you have, we had a couple discussions, or at least one big discussion on what it is like to be a geek or a nerd and what that word means to us and what it means to other people that you might be interested in.
Yep, absolutely. So check out that episode 6.5. It's on iTunes, Google Play, and all other places where you can find podcasts, like Stitcher even. And then the other thing that I did was I picked up Volume 1 and 2 of the 2016 Darth Vader series in the anthology books. So it's like they strung several of the comic book series together into these anthology books. And I think I like Dr. Aphra. She's a pretty cool character. Although she is a baddie, I for some reason like her. And I'm not usually drawn to the baddies, but I do like her. I think she's an interesting person.
Who is she? Because I've heard the name. I don't really know the character.
So, Vader is basically he's behind the Emperor's back trying to do some stuff. Trying to find out secrets about the Emperor. So he hires this girl, this Dr. Aphra, who's kind of helping him do these things behind the Emperor's back and she's got these two robots that are very much like R2-D2, but they're like evil R2-D2 and C-3PO. Like one is it is a protocol droid, but he's been programmed in interrogation and all these like terrible things. He's like an evil C-3PO. And then the R2-D2 droid is a astromech, and he's like an assassin droid. Astromech. So it's just kind of funny. They're like R2-D2 and C-3PO, except they're the evil version. And so they're helping her along, and they're kind of comic relief. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on that Vader finds out that the Emperor has been almost trying to or not almost, he's trying to basically find replacements for him, and basically very open about it. Like, hey, if they're better than you, then they deserve to take your spot.
Huh.
So that a lot of that is going on, and it's kind of a cool read. There's 2 more volumes left. I just ordered the 3rd one. It's on its way. It should be here in a couple days. And then there's a 4th volume I'll get after I read the 3rd one. So I do like the series. It is a dark series. And Afra, even though she's kind of a cool character, she's a bad person. She's not a good person. So
Right.
Yeah, she's pretty twisted, and she'll do anything to survive and stuff. So, and then as we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but fall TV started. So there's a ton of fall TV, and it's actually been coming pretty furiously, and I haven't been catching up as much as I want. But one new show that I've really been liking is The Good Doctor, and I think they got three episodes out right now, and that's been my favorite show of the fall, like the new shows I've been watching, including Orville and Young Sheldon and all the other ones, Inhumans and Gifted and all these other things. I've liked The Good Doctor the best. I think
that stars Freddie Highmore, right?
I don't know who that is.
He was the kid who played in Finding Neverland. He was
he in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp? It was.
I think so. He and Johnny Depp were in both those movies together.
Yeah. Yes, that's the kid. He plays a autistic kid. Well, he's not a kid, I guess. He's probably in his 20s, just getting out of medical school, and he's becoming a surgeon. And it's just really interesting. My wife's nephew has autism, and it reminds. I know, Chase, you remember Kirk.
Yep.
And just his disability reminds me slightly of this character in this show. So I know my wife is definitely drawn to the character because she sees her nephew in this character a lot. Now, my nephew isn't a surgeon, but he's very smart and can remember things. He's sharp as a tack, but he's got such a hard time communicating and behaviorally because of his disability. So it's just interesting. And this kid doesn't really have behavioral issues, but it does tug on the heartstrings to see what he had to go through in his past and how his disability has really, in 2 ways, harmed him, but also helped him become who he is. It's a really great show. I think Good Doctor is probably not the right term. I was thinking it probably should be Amazingly Awesome Doctor, because I really like this kid and I really like this show. Then I also am a fan of the Designated Survivor series of TV shows. I don't know if anyone else watches Designated Survivor, but that came back. That came back, and it pretty much picked up right where it left off, and still liking it, but Good Doctor more. And then I played some Star Wars Battlefront 2 because the beta came out, and I know, Kyle, you got an opportunity to play some. Chase, you did not get the beta or get the Battlefront 2. Are you interested in Battlefront 2 at all, Chase?
I started downloading the beta. I got about a quarter of the way done, and then my internet went down, and then I was too lazy to try again later. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see what some of my friends do. See if I'm gonna buy it and what platform I buy it for.
Well, you better buy it on PlayStation 4 because that's what we all play it on. Come on now.
Yeah, but I also hate playing with a controller. I'd rather play with a mouse and keyboard.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Because I'm terrible at first-person shooters.
Well,
as
me
it
too.
is.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not getting this game for the first-person shooting aspect of it. It's more for the single-player story that I want to play. And actually, I enjoyed some of the space battle stuff that I played.
The space battle. I did see a video on the space battles. The space battles look really good.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. But I did not put as much time into it as I thought I was going to. I got access because I pre-ordered Battlefront 2. So I got access very early. I think it was like Wednesday of last week, a week ago today, that I had access to the beta. And I came home from work like an idiot thinking, I'm going to play the beta. And I went on and realized it's 15 gigs to download the beta. And at this point, it was like 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, well, I guess that's not going to happen because it's going to take all night to download this. So I would have been smarter waking up, starting it, and then going off to work. And then when I got home, it would have been all done and I would have been happy. But I didn't do that. So then the next day, my wife wanted to go shopping and the Patriots were on that night. So I didn't play that Thursday. So I didn't really play till Friday, played a little bit. And then found out that they're going to wipe everything anyways before the game launches, so I didn't really put that much time into it. But I did play the 3 different modes. There was Theed, Palace, and then on Naboo, and then there was Taco Dana, and then there was the Fondor space battle thing. And I did like all 3 of them. I thought they were all 3 different considerably. I think Taco Dana was my favorite infantry kind of battle thing, where it was more of like a capture the flag. I thought the objective was very clear and it was a fun game. And then I like the space battle aspect. Like I love the flying around and shooting ships and stuff, but I really didn't understand the objectives as well. But I really didn't play it that much. And then the same thing with Theed. I kind of was confused as to what the objective was. I know you guys were trying to tell me, Kyle and my John, our friend who played that game like crazy he just played it like 24 hours a day for the last week. But he knew the objectives. He was trying to tell me, but I wasn't getting it. So I was basically just running around shooting at things. I had no idea really what I was doing. I think the team aspect of playing those games is fun because we have a good amount of friends that actually play. So you can get on there and have, 5 to 10 guys playing that you know. And that's kind of a fun squad-based thing. But I didn't play it as much as I could have because of the fact that I know it's all going to be reset. And all that time I put in is really going to be wasted. So I'm going to wait for the game to drop.
It is practice, though, and practice is never really wasted.
I guess you could look at it as practice, but I'm going to practice when it comes out in November 17th. So, I just felt like everything I'm doing is going to be wiped. It's going to be gone. It's like any of the star cards I gain or any of the credits. So I just felt to me like I was just wasting time.
I feel the same way. I have some stronger opinions, but I'm going to wait to talk about this until maybe next week when we have Luke.
Okay.
Because we have
a lot to get to.
Yeah.
And we've already talked a lot. So we'll move on. And that concludes our first segment of the evening where we get to talk about what we did last week. But before we move on, let's get a word from our sponsor.
This segment is brought to you by Preventure Service Company. Got a major renovation you need done? Armin's been doing it all since 1981. For fast and friendly service, contact Preventure at gsinet.net.
All right, in our next segment, Fan Theories, where we discuss fan theories that we just can't get enough of. We're going to start with you, Kyle. What theories do you have for us?
All right. Well, Stranger Things is upon us, isn't it? Well,
it sure is.
Okay, 2 weeks from being upon us, but it feels like it's right there. First of all, I want to talk to you, Josh, about
I'm listening.
The monster from the trailer, because previously you had said that it could be a tunnel, and I went back and rewatched the trailer, and one of the things that you had said was that it doesn't appear to be moving, but it does.
It is moving?
It is moving if you go back and look at it.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that it is a monster. So I'm just going to throw that out there that it's a bigger bad for season 2.
It's a bigger Demogorgon?
Yeah. I have no idea. They're saying, and I wish I could, Thessalahydra. They're saying that they're going to name the monster the Thessalahydra because that's the monster that they faced in the final episode of season 1 of Stranger Things. Chase, do you watch Stranger Things?
I have never seen it.
Okay.
You're missing out.
I feel bad then.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of Stranger Things stuff to cover right now. Look, I do want to just talk about what I think is going on in the Upside Down. There's a lot of theories, but first of all, I want to say don't try to get too cute. Don't try to be too specific about the science behind what the Upside Down is. I feel like they've tried to do that when they came back on Wayward Pines.
Oh, yeah.
They went a little bit too much into the mystique of Wayward Pines in season 2, and I feel like it lost some of its luster. I don't want to see that happen in Stranger Things. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, the turn that Wayward Pines took, it actually turned me off. I didn't finish season 2 because
really?
of it. Yeah, I never finished season 2 of Wayward Pines, and I was a big fan of season 1 of Wayward Pines.
How far did you get?
To me, I probably only got like 3 episodes or 4 episodes in.
Really?
To me, yeah.
Wow.
To me, though, that show ended with season 1. There was no reason for it to continue. Have. Yeah, but they decided that the money was was too much, so they went for season 2.
What were we talking about?
The Upside Down.
Yeah, the Upside Down. So the science. Okay, you didn't like that either. So I agree with that. I think no explanation you can give would be good enough. The bloom would be off the rose. I just want to accept that the Upside Down, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, without getting too specific, I think it's presumably a parallel universe, or at least a parallel Earth verse.
Okay.
Because the town looks pretty much the same. Except it's got this alien virus on steroids.
Yeah.
Taking over the whole town. But it's pretty specific. And when you go back and you see, like, when Jonathan, Nancy, and the boyfriend are facing off with the Demigorgon at Jonathan's house, we see the Upside Down in that same episode, and it looks exactly the same, even with the changes that have been made. So it looks like the changes that are made to anything in the real world immediately take effect in the Upside Down. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
Okay. So I think it's a parallel universe, and they're very directly tied together. And I think it's globe spanning, might even be universe spanning, but I think it's a parallel universe. But I don't want to get too specific with that.
That makes sense. I would agree with that. I think it could be a parallel universe, yeah.
Okay. One thing I heard was that the Demigorgon wasn't aware of Earth until 11 reached out and touched him. And I'm wondering if there wasn't a parallel Earth until the Demigorgon was aware.
Huh.
That's kind of vague and hard to explain, but that's what I'm thinking. So, going along with that, I don't think there's just one creature like the Demigorgon. I think it's a whole ecosystem of creatures, like that big monster that I talked about from the trailer. I think there's small monsters, big monsters. I think that's why Will had that parasite. I think that's a completely different species of monster or whatever from that parallel universe as well.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you, and I kind of have a theory on this, but why did Barbs and the others die when Will didn't? And what happened to Will? Do you have anything that you think about that?
Yeah, I don't understand why myself. Unless they were trying to say that he was hiding so good that the Demigorgon couldn't find him. That's the only thing I could think of. Yeah. But it seems like he knew where he was.
Well, we know he was hiding at Castle Byers, at least at part of it. But what I'm thinking is we know he had a gun in that episode. That first episode, he was loading a shotgun. And I'm wondering if when the Demigorgon took Will to the Upside Down, did he bring the gun with him, was able to get a shot off, and then run and hide? Because we see later on the monster, he stores his victims at the library, but Will was hiding at his house. So it wasn't like the monster was storing him at the house. I think he got away and hid for a fairly good amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long, but it looks like you might have some theories on that.
Yeah, I know he was... I checked out the timeline for this movie, and it was this show, and it was about 6 days. So he was able to hide...
everything happened, huh? It seemed like it was longer than that, but...
No, it was 6 days, and they actually tell you this episode was the morning of this day, or the afternoon of this day, so they're pretty certain on that. But he got to hang out for a while. And going off of the species thing, I think he possibly found some gross food to eat to keep him alive, or at least some like really bad water to drink, and that's how he got a parasite. And that's what we saw coming out of him at the end of season 1. I don't think it was from this feeding tube. that the monster had him on. But that's just me. I think why the others died, like I said, Will had the shotgun, but I think he killed the others before Will, and he stores his victims if he's not hungry. Like, he caught Will at the end of the season, but again, he didn't kill him. He just kind of stored him again. So I don't know if that's because he wants to eat him later, which sounds terrible, but it is a monster show. Or wants to use Will to infiltrate Earth in some way. But there's not really a solid explanation for why Will lived when the others died.
I wonder if you're going to get one, or if it's more of just this monster does creepy, gross things, and we don't really know why.
Yeah, like it's a creeper monster, like Stranger Danger monster.
Yeah, like he's a monster, and you can't always know what a monster's thinking or why he does what he does.
Huh. Yeah, possibly. Then my last thing, I was looking up the powers of the monster, and the monster can create portals to other dimensions.
Yeah, that's why I was pretty confident that he was a dimensional being. Like, he could go, that he was just, the Upside Down was a different dimension.
Yeah, and what's interesting, so we already mentioned that he wasn't aware of Earth until 11 reached out and touched him. So he didn't need the gateway that came at that facility. He didn't need that doorway to get to Earth, because we see him grabbing barbs and coming back through other ways from that doorway, but it was just he needed 11 to let him know where everybody was.
Maybe.
Yes.
Again, I wonder if it's something that is going to be explained,
yeah,
or if it's just something that we're going to have to deal with that we don't really understand why.
Yeah, and I'd be okay if they held back from explaining things to save the story. I'd be okay with that. Lastly, I also just think he was conveniently near the gate. Do you remember the part where the scientist was on a tether and they sent him into the Upside Down, like really close to the gate? I think the monster was only conveniently near that gate because, like I said, he could create portals and go into regular Earth anytime he wanted. So I think it was just for storytelling that he was near the gate. I didn't love that after watching it again, but oh well.
Did you watch the whole thing again?
Yeah, because Sarah had not seen it. She refused to watch it with me. But then we watched it again together, and she actually liked it. And now
she loves it.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean, not that, I can understand that there's probably people that didn't love it, but everyone I know that watched it was like, oh, it was great. Mm-hmm. I haven't really met anyone that watched it and didn't like it. Is that all your theory?
That's all.
Cool. I'm really looking forward.
Theory.
I know. For Chase, who hasn't watched it, yes.
I have no idea what's happening.
But, yeah, I think your theories aren't too far-fetched at all. Usually they are, but today I thought you were on point, so I don't know what that's about.
I'm slipping.
What about you, Chase? Did you have any theories?
I did have a theory. It's on White Collar. I'm not sure how much of a theory it is, but it is also a lot of spoiler. So if there's anybody who hasn't seen...
It's going to spoil it for me because I have no idea what White Collar is.
Oh, you hurt me. You hurt me. White Collar, it's a great show. It's about, just the brief rundown is, a white-collar criminal gets released from prison under a work program with the FBI. He has to wear a anklet, so he's basically under home arrest. Whatever, he has a certain range that he can go, but he's not allowed to leave the anklet. At the end of the show, several times throughout the show, he makes a deal with the FBI. He made one last case, and they're supposed to let him free, and they keep finding a loophole, or he ends up doing something stupid, and he gets put back in prison, getting put back on this anklet. But at the end, the final mission, I don't want to spoil this for you, Josh, because I want you to watch the show, but at the same time, I'm going forward anyway. So, in the end of the show, he is killed, sort of. So, he ends up, because he's a white-collar criminal, he finds a lot of ways, he's a great con artist. So, basically, he finds a way to fake his death. He gets shot, but then he, takes, what's it called, pufferfish, whatever, the poison, it slows your heart rate to the point where you're basically dead. And so, he gets all these people in on it. And then at the end, it just cuts to a scene. So this entire thing is in America. It cuts to a scene over in Paris. And, you don't actually see his face, but his signature is wearing a fedora. And you see a guy in a suit turn on a fedora. And his handler finds this storage crate that he owned. And inside is a bunch of stuff that basically shows, hey, look, I faked my death. Now, so the theory that I have on this is that his best friend, Mozzie, is in on the entire thing, even though it doesn't look like he is. So, Mozzie, best character in the show by far. He's hilarious. He's goofy. He's everything you want in basically a sidekick. At the end of the show, he is in complete depression because his best friend was killed. So,
Is
but
dead.
at the same time, you can make the plea that he is in on it, and the reason that he's able to act so concerned, so real like that, is because he's a con artist. It's what he does for a living. But how else is Neil, who's now over in Paris, getting all of this stuff, all these all artifacts, evidence, whatever, into this storage unit without being in America? So my theory is that Mozzie is completely in on Neil's fake death. That's what kind of helped Neil sell the entire thing, was having help from Mozzie.
Did you
At least
watch
that's the one
this
that-
show, Kyle?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So
That's the theory that my mom and I like, because it'd be really mean to just abandon your best friend. They spend forever together. On this entire show, you watch their friendship build even stronger than when it was. So to just kind of find a way to get yourself killed and then go off and live a different life without your best friend, even after all that you two had done for each other, seems really stupid and annoying. So it's something that I hope that he didn't do, even this fictional show.
So you wouldn't be satisfied with like a Dark Knight Returns ending where he just shows up at a restaurant that Nazi's at and has a drink with him, or toast him from across the room?
I've never seen Dark Knight Returns.
Oh my
Wait,
goodness.
Dark Knight
Killed,
Rises.
but-
Sorry, Dark Knight Rises.
I've never seen Dark Knight Rises.
What?
Is that the one with Heath Ledger?
No. The one...
I haven't seen. I've seen Batman Begins, and that's it.
Oh
Wait
my
a
goodness.
second. That's the
You
best
questioning
Batman
why you have
trilogy
me on
out
this
there.
podcast now?
No!
Yeah. You aren't?
Josh, have you seen those movies?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've seen the Batman movies. I thought everyone's seen the Batman movies.
I've seen Batman Begins, the one that has Liam Neeson, and that's it.
Well, you're missing out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen so few superhero movies that it's almost a skill.
I don't know about that.
I've
Aren't all
seen,
your
like-
friends like superhero guys too?
Yeah. It's never really been my thing, so.
That's fine. I'm kind of blown away. Those were the best DC superhero movies.
So as you were talking, I was looking up information about this White Collar, and I can watch White Collar on Hulu, so I get to actually check out one of your shows, because your other
Okay.
shows, Psych and
Psych.
Chuck, I can't find anywhere.
Yeah,
Well-
you guys are a USA family, huh?
Yeah, I guess. That's.
White Collar, Chuck.
I don't know.
What's the other one? Psych.
Psych.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not
I
bad.
think-
Like I
No.
like your perspective that you bring to the show. It's just
It's different than ours,
Yeah.
which is good. So, very cool. I'm sure if you are a White Collar fan, you know exactly what Chase is talking about.
And you agree with me, because that's the only thing that makes sense.
But I have no clue. I'll have to watch it and then let you know, like when I finish, because it's like on, 6 seasons or something of White
Yeah.
Collar? Yeah, when I finish that in
Yeah.
3 or 4 years, I'll let you know if I agree.
All right. The thing that I will say is just you do have to just power through the first season. I tried to get my friends to watch the show. They made it through the first season, and they didn't like it because they said that the production quality seemed too low. And I'm like, well, that's because it's a startup show. It gets better.
Do you like Leverage?
I don't know if I've ever seen Leverage.
Okay.
I haven't watched that.
Leverage is pretty great.
So, all right, so we'll move on. That wraps up that segment, as I don't have any theory this week. We hope you like the theories, though, that we did go over and preview. And we'll move on to our next segment. But before that, we'd like to get a word from our sponsor.
This segment is brought to you by Freihofer Septic Design, the name to know before you go. Call now. Dial 603-209-1221 to make your business our business.
Our next segment, where we talk about news and rumors, oh my, where we talk about all the geeky news and rumors that we were able to dig up on the internet this week. And we're going to start with you, Kyle. What have you found?
All right. Well, this is kind of a. I'm gonna tie it back to one of my previous theories. It's sports related, but oh well. We're from New Hampshire. We're located out near Boston. And I'm a big Boston Celtics fan. I think I mentioned this
Dunkin'
before.
Donuts. No ma God.
Yeah. So as a Boston Celtics fan, we got a big trade over the summer. We picked up the Celtics picked up Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving...
No, Geek-Cetera did, actually.
Geek-Cetera?
Still waiting on that first paycheck to actually join the show, I guess.
Yeah.
But he is a YouTube star and a commercial star from Pepsi. Pepsi Max did a commercial series of commercials with Kyrie. He plays a character called Uncle Drew. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Uncle Drew. Have you guys seen these commercials?
Yeah.
Josh has, Chase?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and I for a while I thought that they were legitimate. I'm pretty sure they've been staged now that I've watched them again. But what you see is this guy show up, and he's an old guy. You know, it's Kyrie, but he's heavily maked up and looked to be like he's hobbling around. So he gets on a court for a pickup basketball game, and he's doing pretty terrible. And all of a sudden, he just starts to light it up, throwing down dunks, ankle breaking all over the place. And turns out it's Kyrie Irving, and he puts on a pretty good show. And you see these series of commercials, and he brings in other NBA players into this, and it was pretty popular. Got a lot of hits on YouTube. So now Pepsi and Kyrie Irving have gotten together, and they're gonna release an Uncle Drew movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it's getting a prime summer release date of June 29th, 2018. Like summer
Oh my goodness.
blockbuster time.
So he's going to be making a movie while he's supposed to be playing basketball?
Actually, if the Celtics win the finals or are in the finals, they'll be over by June 29th.
Yeah, but they're going to make the movie before then.
Exactly.
That's
the movie is going to be starting like now.
Yeah.
And he's going to be... I don't know if I love that. If I was the Celtics, I think I'd say, hey, why don't you wait to film movies till, after your career's over? But right now, we're paying you to win games for us. So focus on that.
No, man.
acting.
I think he's going to bring a lot of ticket sales. He's going to sell a lot of jerseys. Having him in this movie...
I'm sure he is, but still, I mean, isn't the number one goal to win the basketball games?
Yeah, it is. But having a huge star like that in Boston, they won 10 years ago and they've had huge stars, but what basketball stars have been in movies lately? And I'm not talking about Kevin Durant when he did the Thunderstruck movie, or Dwight Howard was in, there was a movie called Just Right a couple years ago. Like, LeBron James is supposed to be in Space Jam 2. That's a big movie. Shaq
what
had
about
a few movies.
Shaq? Yeah, Shaq was in Shazam, wasn't he?
He was in Shazam, and he was in a couple others. And that kind of ties to my shared movieverse.
Oh, boy.
Movie universe theory.
Yeah.
I did want to just say Michael Jordan, he also did Space Jam, which was huge. So
Yeah, Space Jam was
the type of stars that are going to have big movies like that in the NBA are few and far between. So I think this is great for the city of Boston and for the Celtics. Shaq's going to be in this movie, this Uncle Drew movie, because the movie is about a aspiring street baller. He spends all his life savings to enter this Rucker Park tournament in Harlem. He loses his team to his longtime rival before he gets into this tournament, so he talks Uncle Drew, Kyrie Irving, into returning to the court and getting his team back together. So the other stars that will be made up for this movie includes Shaq, Chris Webber, who played for the Kings. He was part of the Fab Five. Reggie Miller, Pacer great. Nate Robinson, who he played for the Knicks, played for the Celtics. Not as big a star as those other three. And Lisa Leslie from the WNBA. And I think this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. It should be funny. It's not going to be the greatest movie ever, but I'm definitely going to see it. But I think we could get a shared movie universe tie-in to the DC movie universe because Shaq played Steel in a 1990 movie.
No.
I know it's not going to happen, but how cool would it be if we had Steel, like the Shaq character playing the old guy and then Steel, and it tied into the Justice League movie or whatever?
How cool would that be? That wouldn't be cool at all.
It would be so cool. You don't even
Come on.
Mind blown.
I don't think so.
I hope Pepsi Max and Kyrie are listening to me because this is a money deal. I need a royalty check.
I don't know. You add DC to anything and you get...
That's true. Hey, what movie was that? Batman versus Superman? Is that what they called? Dawn of Justice? Dawn of Justice was $1 billion movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's still $1 billion movie, whether or not you've seen it. A couple things. I think that Spike Lee could cameo in this movie because Reggie Miller's in this, and they went back and forth a lot of time at Madison Square Garden, so maybe we'll get Spike Lee on the court at one of those Rucker Park games. Also, Bill Russell, Kevin Love, Maya Moore, Baron Davis, JB Smoove, and Ray Allen, they've all been in Uncle Drew commercials and could make cameos in this movie. So that would be pretty cool. I don't think they will, but there's a chance. Like Nate Robinson was in a commercial, and he's also going to be in the movie, so it's definitely possible.
Very cool. Did you find any other news or rumors?
No, I have nothing left. Did either of you see Drumline?
No,
Nick
I didn't
Cannon?
see Drumline.
Nope.
You know who was in that? Zoe Saldana.
Oh, Zoe Saldana? Did you say Zoe Saldana? Is that how you say it? I thought it was Zoe Saldana.
Just say it with authority and people will think that you're right.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she might be listening. Chase, save us.
Okay. So, Battlefront 2. It's a fantastic game, but not the new one. The new one might end up being okay, but whatever. But the best part that's come out of the new one is the old Battlefront game, the 2005 game, they have reopened the servers for. The 64-player servers. There's space battles, there's all the capture the flag, capture
Those space battles
the
were
point.
amazing.
Yep, and you can have them all again. Battlefront 2, the old one is $10 on Steam for computers. And like I said, there's the 64-player servers are open again. So I really do appreciate that the new Battlefront has come out just so I can have the old Battlefront back.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be really happy about that. I think Battlefront 2 was probably the most popular Battlefront. The original Battlefront 2 was probably the most popular Battlefront series.
That's one thing I hate is the way that they named these stupid games. We're on Battlefront 4. I don't care. It's not Battlefront 2. It's Battlefront 4.
Technically.
And
have you been playing?
In reality, I've played a little bit. I'm terrible, but I still enjoy playing it. The space battles I was actually doing better than I usually do, so that's good. I've gotten a little bit better at that. My first game I started off well, and then after that I kind of fell apart. But yeah, it's fun.
So you got anything else for news and rumors?
Nope.
Okay.
You know what I loved about that too? Because the space battles were great. I really loved them. That was probably my favorite part of that game. But I liked the Galactic Conquest.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, I liked having different abilities that you could activate in the middle of a battle. And the idea of having a map of the universe and picking a planet and like trying to literally take over the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So I have a couple things.
Talk to us about that Mark Hamill tweet. I wonder if that's real.
See, this is what I told you. This is why we have to record more often. Because I literally have, Mark Hamill deleted a tweet saying that you should watch Monday Night Football on October 9th for no particular reason. And, well, I can delete that.
I think there's a particular reason.
There was a particular reason. He wasn't just trying to trick everyone or throw a diversion. We got Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer. But in other news, it looks like Men in Black 2 and 21 Jump Street crossover has been pushed to the back burner. What?
You said Men in Black 2.
Would you let me finish?
Okay.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. It looks like the Men in Black and 21 Jump Street crossover has been pushed to the back burner, as it was recently announced by Sony that they are fast-tracking another Men in Black movie that will feature two different agents. And they're shooting for a May 2019 release date. So I know that you were big on the shared universe thing, and you were talking about the Men in Black / 21 Jump Street crossover that they were talking about doing. It looks like that has been pushed to the back burner for the time being. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Fake news.
You think it's been greenlit and it's like fast tracked?
Yeah, I think that on December 15th when we go to see Star Wars: The Last Jedi, we're actually going to get a double feature.
You're dreaming.
MIB 23, and we all have to sit through both movies.
I'll leave. Oh, and then in other news, and Luke isn't even here to hear this wonderful news, but he probably heard it because it's actually kind of old news now, is that My Hero Academia has been renewed for a 3rd season. So I know he'll be very happy for that. And then my last bit of news I have is on a sequel. And that sequel is a sequel to the Thrawn book, which is coming. It's going to be called Thrawn Alliances. Darth Vader is going to play a larger part in this book, and it's coming in the summer of 2018. So if you like the original Thrawn, I'm sure, or the Thrawn book that Timothy Zahn did recently for the canon, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to Thrawn Alliances, which is going to be coming in the summertime of next year.
Very cool.
And that is all the news and rumors that I have dug up for now.
I do want to throw out a plug for the My Hero Academia sub that's on Hulu, because I didn't watch the dub. I don't even know where that is, because I'm not looking for it, but I saw the sub on Hulu, so I was like, I'll check it out. I watched a couple episodes. I actually like the sub. I know you guys don't, but having some of the translation get lost is hilarious to me. And I'm really enjoying watching it, or at least those 2 episodes.
So you've watched 2 episodes of season 1?
Yep.
Very good. So that wraps up the news and rumors that we found this week. So let's keep rolling. But before we do, we'll get a word from our sponsor.
Do you have a comment that you'd like read on the air? If so, email at geek-cetera-network@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you.
And we're back with our next segment, which we call Trashy Trailers, where we get to talk about trailers that we saw that we are looking forward to seeing in the movies or playing when it's released. And I'm going to start. I watched the trailer for the movie Downsizing, which has Matt Damon, Christopher Waltz, Kristen Wiig, and Jason Sudeikis in it. It's about how in the near future the world is overpopulated and science figures out how to shrink people down to about the size of a G.I. Joe, is what it looked like to me. And Matt Damon decides to be one to be shrunk. And I actually thought it looked pretty good. I know it was getting some criticism online, but to me it looked like a quirky, fun movie that I would enjoy. And that movie is slated to be in theaters this December, right around the same time as Star Wars. So we'll see what is going to get number 1 for me.
Triple feature.
I think I know. Yeah, but you never know. And later in the Great Debate, I'm going to talk about something that may make it possible for me to see both of these movies and not have to break the bank. So that's what I watched. Did you guys see Downsizing trailer?
No, I didn't. I also have questions. I'm like,
okay, let's see some questions.
Is this not also just Ant-Man? And if
No.
it's not Ant-Man, is it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
No, it's neither of those things.
It could be Honey, I Shrunk the Ant-Man.
It is. First off,
it's even smaller.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They were like the size of like a grain of rice.
Yeah, tinier than an ant.
Yeah, they were small. This guy is like the size of, not like the big G.I. Joes, but like the smaller, like our era, Kyle, G.I. Joes when we were kids, like 3 or 4 inches tall.
Yeah.
Like the little green army men?
No, not that small.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Pretty small. I mean, we're talking...
I didn't play with Barbies when I was your age. Goodness.
This is not Barbies. G.I.
It's the same thing.
Okay,
no,
Josh
not.
didn't play with Barbies. It's just that they married the Barbie.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh. Cosplay, anyone?
These millennials, they just don't get it.
Nope. No, we do not. That's part of my job.
So what are your questions besides, is this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Is this Ant-Man?
That's it for me.
That
I
was your
think it's
questions?
I think it's up to Kyle now.
It's totally different.
So I think you said that Matt Damon decides to be one to be shrunk.
Yes.
Is it kind of a situation where only some people are going to be shrunk?
So that is a little unknown. I know that they talk about how if he decides to shrink himself, his money will be worth a lot more. So that's one of the reasons it seems like he made this decision, because he basically will go from being struggling financially in the real world till once he's shrunk, he will be like a millionaire. And so he's like, him and his wife, his wife is Kristen Wiig, decide, yeah, let's do this. And so, I mean, I still don't know everything about this movie, but they make the decision to do it. I guess the world's being overpopulated. So they actually have neighborhoods of small people that have been shrunk down, and they can fit in like a lot smaller size-wise area.
Yep.
But that means they also have, the dangers of you're a small person living in a world of big people. So
big
how
people,
they have
but
to be kind of separate.
Yeah, but just problems in general would be bad, like natural disasters.
Yeah,
you're not walking away from anything. I mean, a heavy rain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're closer to the ground, so I mean, the wind probably doesn't blow as hard down there.
Yeah, I guess.
Does that make any sense? I don't know. And as far as what this is going to be rated, it is unknown so far. Last I checked, it had not been rated. So I can't give you what it's going to be rated. But I didn't see any reason it wouldn't be rated PG-13 or something. So
that's interesting.
But that's what I found. Yeah, and I thought it looked pretty funny. I know it's probably really kind of going to be a cheesy movie, but it looked funny to me.
Yeah, I think the premise is cool. I'd like to see what they'll do with it.
Yeah, same.
So what do you have, Chase?
So I think it was, last time I was on, Kyle wanted to talk a little bit about, TV shows. So this is just a reminder that I believe it's the final season of Star Wars Rebels starts the 16th. It's actually Monday, so it'll start on Monday.
On Monday?
That's pretty cool.
It's not going to air on Saturdays anymore?
Nope, because I just double-checked it before we started, and it says October 16th.
Huh.
So
sweet.
Yep.
I love Rebels.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited and sad because I didn't
the last season,
want to like it at first.
Oh.
And then my friend he had it on like Amazon or whatever, and so I logged into his Amazon, and I was hooked. I'm like, okay, I actually really like this. And so it's going to be the same thing as the Clone Wars. I'm going to be sad to see it go. Hopefully they'll actually find something good to replace it with and not Forces of Destiny. That's terrible. Please, anything but that.
I haven't heard anything, like we knew at the end of Clone Wars that something new was coming, but I haven't heard anything, so.
Yeah, so we can hope.
Well, they have about a year to introduce something, right? Like if they want to do like a live action Star Wars something next fall, I mean, they have a year. Maybe they have something that they're working on.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they might. And what else do you have, Chase?
Then I might just be way behind the times. I saw the trailer for Thor Ragnarok. Like I said, I'm not much of a superhero person. It looked interesting. I don't know. I'll probably get dragged to go see it by somebody. It seems like there'll be some funny moments in it, but other than that, it just looks like another superhero movie.
I think it looks great, but
the one scene that I saw that was funny was when Thor was talking to Banner about the fight, and Hulk is like, "I won, right?" And Thor's like, "No, I won easily."
Yeah.
And the Hulk is just like, "That doesn't sound right."
Yeah, I thought that. I think that looks like they're gonna have some pretty cool stuff in that movie, and I like the interaction between those two characters.
Yeah,
I'm kind of nervous. I think Thor Ragnarok will be pretty good, but it's coming here as the '80s stuff is starting to get stale.
Words are hard.
Guardians and Guardians 2. What'd you say, Chase?
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Words are really hard. Guardians and Guardians 2, they weren't based in the 80s, but those soundtracks were amazing. With Stranger Things based in the 80s, that's pretty good. But then you had like Despicable Me 3, and that's based on like a 80s villain that grew up in the 80s or whatever. You have Ragnarok that has that same kind of feel. I just feel like it's starting to die.
Yeah, look at the art for Ragnarok and tell me that it doesn't scream like Atari or something.
Yeah, seriously. And even like the Goldbergs, the TV show, I really love that show, and I'm kind of over the 80s stuff. Like I started to watch the new season. I didn't even finish the first episode on the first try. I went back and rewatched it. I'm just starting to get kind of done with that stuff, but that's probably because I didn't grow up in the entirety of the 80s.
I like the 80s stuff still. I'm not done with it. I'm going to hold on to it at least until Ready Player One at least.
Good point. I forgot about Ready Player One, so that's going to be good too, but that's also It's just a lot. Although I do love that TV show. I love the 80s and 90s and the new millennium. All of those are great.
Very cool. What about you, Kyle? What do you have for trailers that you watched?
Well, I watched the Tomb Raider trailer. Have either of you seen this?
I have.
What do you
I
think?
saw like the first second of it, and then
Okay.
I
saw
think
nothing more.
it looked to me, and maybe you can think. I don't know if you feel the same. Tomb Raider recently in the games, anyways, kind of took a step in a different direction. For a while, it was all about this girl, and I haven't played Tomb Raider games in a long, long time. But it was all about this girl who would run around in short shorts and a tight shirt with guns and shoot things. And it was more about the eye candy than the story. That was what the story was, right? Really, you were just looking at eye candy and shooting things. But then recently in the games, anyways, they changed and they went to more story-driven, more like almost grittier feel, kind of like the Nathan Drake series in Uncharted, where it was more climbing and jumping from ledge to ledge. I feel like they gave her more clothing. It was less about the eye candy at that point.
Yeah.
So when I saw this trailer, I thought it looked more like it was going after that vein of Tomb Raider, that second vein where it's more about the adventure and the action and less about, hey, this is a girl that is wearing very little clothing shooting things.
I agree. They're actually going to make a good movie.
Yeah, like when you think of the two actresses, and I don't remember what this actress's name is that plays this Tomb Raider, but she's completely different than Angelina Jolie. In body shape and everything, she's completely different. Angelina Jolie kind of looks like a plastic human being. Is that okay to say? Where this girl looks like a real girl, which is kind of nice.
I agree. Yeah. And I agree with everything you just said. We get a lot of origin stories, but this looks like an origin story, and I'm excited for it. It looks good. It also doesn't look like it's going to be over the top. No base jumping. We're not going to see Lara Croft punch a shark. She's not going to have this holodeck or danger room, whatever it is, with robots that she's going to fight for fun, like we saw in the other ones. And I'm just glad to get rid of all that stuff and have a good movie. But I also wonder how deep into the movie the trailer actually goes, because we see her signature braid only at the end of the trailer. She's dressed up in a little differently throughout the trailer, so I'm wondering, will she become the Tomb Raider at the end of the movie, or is it just really early on in the movie that we see the trailer? But I'm excited.
Very good. And I guess they haven't released what it's going to be rated yet, so we really don't know what way they're going with this. But from what I saw, I was actually excited. But I'm sure, I'm 99% sure when I say if it's rated something that I would go see, and I say to my wife, want to go see Tomb Raider, the answer is absolutely going to be no.
My one thing is, I was just going to say real quick, I'm probably not one to judge on the casting, but looking at the face of Lara in this versus in the actual Tomb Raider games, it doesn't look very similar. And I know that they're trying to pick somebody who's actually like good at acting and it isn't just a face, but I wish it was a little bit closer to what people know as Tomb Raider.
Well,
I'm not talking about the triangles, I'm talking about the new games, but...
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you talking about the old one? Because I think...
I wish that she was just, like, complete square,
No, I think, well, the initial Tomb Raiders, the original Tomb Raiders with the short
polygons.
Shorts and the teal tank top and two guns attached to her thighs, that Tomb Raider looks different than the newer Tomb Raider that they've been making games with.
Yep.
Slightly. It's a grittier Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Not as polished and like I said, more like Nathan Drake style.
Yeah.
So is that all you had, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So that brings us...
Sorry, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
I have the trailer watching in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Kyle's talking about, the no base jumping. The scene I just saw, she jumped off of a ledge and with a pick in her hands jumped to another wall and is hanging off the wall by the pick that just dug into the cliff.
Yeah, but that's stuff you would do in the game.
That's tame compared to some of the stuff that they had Lara Croft doing in the first Tomb Raider.
Okay.
And I threw base jumping in there because that came into my mind. The only thing I had written down was the shark punching, which is ridiculous, in the holodeck danger room. So I will gladly take off base jumping, and those two are ridiculous enough.
Very good.
At the end of the trailer, she has 2 pistols in her hands. So.
Well, there's some things that they're gonna keep. Very good. Well, we're gonna move on. But before we move on, let's stop for a word from our sponsor.
If you like geeky things and you can stand Superfriendly, Dark Eagle, and Wildjosh, then you should subscribe to this podcast.
All right, we're back and we're on to the great debate, where we're going to debate a few different subjects, things that have come up over the past couple weeks. And one huge one is Star Wars The Last Jedi. So instead of just hopping in, we're going to break this down a little bit. We're going to talk about The Last Jedi movie poster, which was released this week. And I don't know if you've seen it, Chase.
I have.
Okay, I have it up right now on my screen because I set it as my wallpaper on my computer. And is the one thing I noticed, I mentioned this to Kyle, my wife actually pointed this out. If you're looking at the Last Jedi movie poster, you have nice symmetry where you have what looks like the bad guys on one side, the good guys on the other. You look at Luke's face, half of his face is illuminating the lightsaber hilt or the lightsaber beam of Rey, so it's half blue, and the other is half red from Kylo Ren's lightsaber. And everything about this looks perfect, but I noticed something that didn't fit. And I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but Poe is on the wrong side.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you think that is just they wanted to get Poe on there so that he ends up on the other side? Or do you think this is a hint that Poe might not be who he seems to be?
No.
I think he's just on the poster because he's on the poster.
I don't get... But it's so clear that it's... I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Poe is very clearly on the wrong side. What is he doing on the dark side?
There's only so much space on the poster.
Then don't put him in there. Or, I don't know.
You gotta have him in there.
Why?
Because he's one of the main
you could add
characters in the
Snoke there.
film.
You could add Snoke there.
Yeah.
Okay, but Snoke we don't know anything about yet. We've seen him for a brief couple minutes.
Okay.
They're trying to bring people in who have watched episode 7.
This is what I'm thinking. If I'm making this and I want and Poe is good and then I'm taking out those droids, I'm gonna put Poe down there where the droids are, or I'm gonna move Finn down to where the droids are, because that means Finn will be across from Phasma, which we know they have an awesome fight scene. And Poe is gonna be where Finn is, and then where Poe is, you're gonna get Snoke.
Okay, so I'm gonna lend some credence to this because I'm looking at this now, and Finn and Poe are on opposing sides.
Yeah.
Like not like they're in the same space of the poster. They're at the same height, their heads are the same size, and they're looking opposite ways. So I could see that maybe that something's gonna come between them, and maybe it's Princess Leia, as we can see in that poster, but maybe not. But you know what? I'm buying into this a little bit now that I'm looking at it more.
See, yeah, I don't want to. I love Poe, and I want Poe to be a good guy. But this poster is making me think there's something more to Poe.
Okay, so what are you going to say about Leia then? Because she's split down the middle like Luke is.
That, I don't know. I just think that they're torn.
And what about the fact that, the TIE fighters and ATSTs and whatever, all that stuff in the middle, that's in the middle too.
Yeah,
that's not special.
I just think it's weird that only Poe would be on that side. Everything else, I understand what you're saying, yes, but that's kind of around the picture. Whereas that he is very clearly on the wrong side of this. I love this poster, by the way. I just love this poster.
Can you see this picture? I just put in the show notes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I saw that already.
I love that.
That is pretty cool.
So someone has gone ahead and there's a groundswell of theories that Darth Vader is going to play more heavily into these movies. He was definitely referenced. He's definitely he influences Kylo Ren's life. But there's theories out there that he's going to factor in. Maybe he'll appear as a Force ghost, but he's going to have a influence. So someone has gone ahead and I don't even know. Actually, you can look on my Twitter and maybe.
I just saw it. I'm going to retweet your Twitter.
Okay, so we're going to retweet it here at geek underscore. Is it underscore etc.?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, you just put that up. Can you tweet that on our Twitter? Our tweeter?
Our tweeter.
Our tweeter.
I'm logged into my Twitter right now.
Oh, okay. I like that picture, but I don't want to have to retweet you.
Josh, just screenshot it and repost it.
Wait, you don't want to have to retweet me?
No, I don't want to retweet you.
What does that even mean?
I'll retweet you. Fine.
He wants all the publicity on the
I
group
retweet it,
page.
okay? I'm even going to love it. And I'll say something to you.
Because I retweeted someone else. Like, it's a retweet.
There.
Anyways, just check. You can check this poster out on our Twitter page at geek_cetera. It just shows Darth Vader superimposed over the other characters in yellow highlighter, and it's just great.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So I guess we got a little bit of a difference. With Kyle, you're kind of coming to my side. Chase, you're not. So
No,
you know
I'm
what?
not.
We're gonna see this movie together, and
Yes,
then you're gonna have to eat crow. That's all that there is to it.
So if we're going off of that theory, though, Josh, if we're looking at the poster, Rey and Kylo Ren are on opposite sides. Rey is still on the light side. Kylo's still on the dark. So would that mean that they are not going to switch sides?
I think that there was some misdirection in that trailer. I think if they showed us all that stuff and it plays out just like the trailer, then what's the point of having to watch the movie? Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was some misdirection in that. I think the scene at the very end where they try to make it look like Rey is asking Ren for help, I think those scenes are different. The background of where Ren is different. There's like fire falling
yeah.
and stuff. And I think Rey is asking Luke that when she's talking to Luke. But they spliced it together to make it look like she's talking to Ren.
I think they did a good job splicing it too, because if you look, there's kind of an orangish glow on the right side of her face, and then there's an orangish glow on the left side of Kylo's face. So it tries to make it look like they're in the same area, but I don't think they are.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree
and I'm
with
curious.
that.
They tried to make it look like Ren kills Leia, and I wouldn't be surprised if they killed Leia, I guess. But I think that was too obvious to put. If you really are gonna, put that in there, like they didn't do anything like that with Han when they were gonna kill Han in Force Awakens. They didn't
Because
even
nobody would have gone to see the movie.
Yeah. So I would be surprised.
Everyone knows that Carrie Fisher is dead.
Right.
So they know that she has to die off in this episode.
But I wouldn't made it so obvious because
honestly, I don't think they did, because if you watch that scene, Kylo does not pull the trigger, and you can see a look on his face where you can tell that he is split. He doesn't want to kill his own mother. He knows she's on that carrier, and he does
what a
not
good
pull
son!
the trigger.
He doesn't want to kill his mother.
His dad whatever, but his mom, nope.
He's a mama's boy.
Can I sidetrack back to the poster for a second?
Yeah, and I want to keep talking. I got some stuff too, so go ahead.
All right, so somebody posted, there is one little discrepancy, but in the back of every movie poster so far has been the villain. On the back of episode 1, it's Darth Maul. In the back of episode 3, it's Darth Vader. 4, it's Darth Vader. 5, it's Darth Vader. 6, it's Vader. 7, Kylo's in the back. Episode 2 is the one that's kind of thrown off. Jango is in the front, but Anakin is in the back. And, we all kind of know what happens to him. But now in the back of episode 8, we have Luke in the back.
Huh.
So people are starting to wonder.
Jin is in the background of the Rogue One trailer.
Oh, but that's a Star Wars story. It's kind of different.
Okay.
And that was a terrible movie, but
what?
It was not okay, I take it back. It was not a terrible movie. It wasn't my favorite.
All right.
I like that movie.
Josh is about ready to kick me off the podcast.
No, he's not.
I like Rogue One.
First, I've never watched any superhero movies or Batman. Now I don't like Rogue One.
So I'm kind of looking at more movie posters. I think, are these the?
Here, let me,
So for
I'll send the one that I'm looking at in like the doc.
Okay, because for like Return of the Jedi, there's a poster that has Chewie and the Slug in the background.
I have that poster on my wall, sitting right next to me. Is that the one where you get the silhouette of Vader and Luke dueling?
Yeah.
And then you get the droids, the Ewoks. That's actually the special edition, though. That's the special edition poster.
Oh, I'm seeing Chase's now.
Yep, it's at the bottom of the dock.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
The one that throws us off of your theory the most is
episode 2. Yep, for sure. And that was the comment that somebody else had made on this same photo.
Okay. So we're done with the poster? No. We're not.
Look at Captain Phasma. What side is she on?
The right.
Yeah.
I know.
So if we're going off of this
I know. Maybe my theory was wrong.
No.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying Phasma's on the dark side.
Unfair. I'm willing to jump on to Kyle's boat with that. I just want, if they're going to let her continue to be bad, and it looks like she will be because she fights with Finn, I want an explanation as to why she was a pushover.
Me too.
Because otherwise that's just inexcusable. That's just poor movie writing in episode 7. If she just let everything go, I want to know why she let them go, and I want to know how she survived the trash compactor.
Yeah.
And the explosion of the planet.
And Sarah makes a really good point, because she doesn't think Phasma was that way either. And we have both, actually, Sarah's finished Phasma, I have not. But Phasma is a warrior. She could have definitely dismantled both Finn and Han Solo and Chewie. Well, you know what? Maybe not. I was going to say without a problem, but maybe not. But this book makes her out to be a much more fearsome warrior that would not have been intimidated like that. Like she said, if this book had come out before the movie, that scene would not have gone like that. And I tend to agree with her.
I haven't read Phasma yet.
Yeah, I do not think Phasma is a turncoat, especially based on the character that we see in this book, but I also don't think she's a pushover. But she is interested in saving her own skin.
All right, so let's move on.
I don't know. Hang on. Let's look at this a little bit.
What are you looking at?
I don't know. I'm looking at this poster. I want to look at...
We haven't even talked about the trailer yet, and we got 2 other things to talk about.
Oh, we're going to talk about all those things?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done.
So the trailer. What did we think about the trailer? We got the movie poster. We get the trailer. We got the movie poster. Then we got our movie tickets, trailer, all that at the same time. We got our tickets. We are going to see it as a group, Geek-Cetera. Can't wait.
I'm probably going to see it the night before.
Wow.
Are you serious? Are you going to do that to us? I did that to you.
I guess not. Yes, you did. Okay. Actually, you know what's funny? You did that to us last year, but I also did that to us last year.
With what?
With the last with Rogue One.
We both did that?
You went with your wife and I went with my wife. I don't know who I went with, but I had also seen it before we all went as a group.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm not going to get the opportunity, I don't think, beforehand, because like I said, I'm on call that week for work, so... But you can do it. It's okay.
I can wait. I know I'm going to see it at least 3 times. I've seen the other 2 movies at least 3 times. Let me just jump...
Oh, you might see it more than that. Wait till we get to MoviePass.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that in a second, but I'm just going to say this about the trailer. I don't feel that I've seen a trailer that's filled with more red herrings than that trailer was on Monday.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, I would agree with that.
Brees, I thought I've redissected the movie poster. You guys might want to check the doc.
Oh, goodness. You got to put that on there, too. And make sure you use the hashtag Star Wars.
Did you do that?
Okay.
Is that your creation?
No, I wish it was. I wish I had been that smart.
I love it. Tell us what we're looking at, Chase.
So I can't. So Kyle was talking earlier about how they have Darth Vader superimposed over the Star Wars trailer. I just found an image on the internet. It is the trailer flipped upside down, and superimposed onto that is none other than Jar Jar Binks.
Darth Jar Jar.
I think Snoke's identity has been confirmed with this new movie trailer.
I think so too, and we've confirmed that Jar Jar Binks was indeed comic relief. He's providing it right now.
Yep.
Or Juju Banks, as my friend calls it. Rick was like, "Oh, you know too much about this Juju Banks." But all right, so a lot of red herrings in the movie trailer. I agree with that. I think what we got in that movie trailer is it's not telling us what we think it's telling us. I'm pretty sure. I do think maybe Luke is resistant to training her because of what happened to Kylo Ren. But I wonder if he really turns her down, sends her away, and she has to turn somewhere else. But the scene at the very end where she is like freaking out and Snoke, you can see the bottom of his robes in the background, like he is doing something to her. Do you think he is force draining her, trying to regen some health? Because that's what I think's happening.
Absolutely.
Regen some health. That sounds like a video game. But trying to just heal himself and put his body back together with with her strength and her force.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's a good thing she
That's
has
Snoke.
such raw power.
Yeah, and I think she's gonna destroy him.
Ooh.
She might be the most powerful Jedi somehow.
Uh,
Maybe she's the one to bring balance to the Force. She's the chosen one this whole time.
Yes.
They were wrong.
And yes, that is why she was created in the Force, like Anakin. And that's why Obi-Wan,
she was a clone
Yoda,
of Obi-Wan.
and Anakin had to create her as Force Ghost. And Qui-Gon, they had to learn how to create her, and they just needed extra time to do it. I'm telling you.
This theory is terrible. I
No,
hate it.
it's amazing. And Josh
No.
just made my point.
Nope.
I didn't necessarily make your point.
Josh made
I
no
didn't
points.
on purpose make your point.
Well, I'm sorry that my theory makes so much sense that you had to stumble right into it. But we're not talking about theories right now.
All right. So let's move on from what?
The trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another point about the trailer that I loved.
Okay.
Besides the Poggle, what's the name of that character that you're in love with?
It's not a Poggle. What is wrong with you? It is a Porg.
It's a what? It's a Furby?
Now I can't even say it. A Porg. I love Porgs and I want
A Pikachu?
one.
It's Disney's way to make money.
Oh.
They create something cute so they can sell it. That's what they did with BB-8. It's what they will continue to do through every Star Wars movie in history.
I want one of those. I want one of those Star Foxes or Snow Foxes. Those looked amazing.
I do too. Yeah, those do look
Yes.
awesome.
I want one as a pet.
Oh, same here. Anyways, the only thing I really want to know about that trailer that I loved was that they didn't include any of the new characters. In the previous trailer, they had.
What's that girl's name? The new girl that we're
I don't know. But they didn't have
I
Laura
forget her
Dern.
name.
They didn't have Benicio del Toro. They didn't have that girl who was with Finn dressed up as an Empire person. And they only had the characters we already know and love. And I thought that was great.
Yeah, so there was a good amount of characters. And what is that girl's name?
What girl are you talking about?
The new girl that's in it. Her name is Rose.
Rose Tyler?
No, her
Chase!
name in the
She's going to
movie
be
is
at
Rose.
Comic-Con.
Rose Tyler?
Yeah.
At Rhode Island Comic Con?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I know.
You already said no, Chase.
No, I know.
You
I
cannot
have
be
no
Rose
money.
Tyler.
I have no life. I don't have... Yeah, no. Okay.
Let's move on, because we're running out of time. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Is it going to be pay to win? That is the rumor, and I hate that idea.
It wouldn't surprise me. They say there's not going to be any paid DLC, which means they have to find another way to milk it for money.
I would much rather have
How
paid
about
DLC
that we're
than
paying
this.
$60 to get the stupid game? Why isn't that
Because
enough?
it's EA.
I know.
I'm
That's
pretty
the same
sure
reason
EA,
why they literally copy the code from Madden or NBA or whatever other games and just basically add new players and resell it every year for $60.
Seriously.
It-
And they're the ones.
If they do the pay to play, if they do the pay to win model, I think they're gonna kill the game, because you're gonna have guys they have disposable incomes, and they're just going to be throwing money at the game so they can be awesome, because they don't want to put any time into it, and it's gonna ruin the game for everyone
Seriously,
else.
I really wish now that I hadn't pre-ordered. I'm so mad at myself. I got burned. I got burned on No Man's Sky. I feel like I got burned on Battlefront, and now Battlefront 2, and I haven't learned my lesson. I'm still pre-buying. I'm still ordering and paying for games.
Did you pre-buy and pay full?
Yeah, didn't you?
No. Oh. So I was at GameStop. I wasn't gonna get anything. I was just re-upping my Game Informer subscription. And the girl behind the counter was like, "Hey, do you want to pre-order any games like Battlefront 2?" And I'm like, "Oh, actually I do, kind of." I said, "But what do I get for that?" She goes, "Well, you're going to get early access to the beta." She goes, "So this is what the deal is. You put $5 down, and that's going to give you, and you pre-ordered it. That's going to give you a code so you can get into the beta. And if you don't like it, then you can come back in and just tell us, and we'll just transfer your pre-order to another game that you want, and you got into the beta for free.
Yeah, I pre-ordered online, so I paid for the game.
So I'm still thinking I'm going to go through with it and get the game, but that is an option because I'm thinking I'm hoping anyways, the story mode is going to be enough to keep me interested. But
for $60, you know what you could do with, you know, one-sixth of that money.
Story. It's going to be a canon Star Wars story, and I'm too much of a fanboy.
For one-sixth of that money, you can get the single player of Battlefront 2 and the online 64-player servers.
No.
Yes.
I know I could, but
it is such a better use of your money.
I want canon.
Just watch a playthrough on YouTube.
No.
It does really make me upset, and I don't know if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, but the system for upgrading your weapons, upgrading your characters in the new Battlefront 2 is through a system of loot crates. And the loot crates are going to be things like emotes, and poses and things like that, maybe even some skins, but also the upgrades to your weapons, upgrades to your ships, things like that. So you're going to earn credits. Now, the credit system is not going to be based on performance as it had been before. Your performance credits, you're going to get like in-game battle points based on your performance, so you can spend those to get a hero. You can spend them to get a ship in-game. But for the upgrades, you're going to collect credits, but it's not going to be based on your performances. Everybody on your team is going to get the same amount. So then you use those credits, and they build up slowly. And maybe they'll change that.
I mean, you do get a loot crate a day, right, for logging in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an iOS game where you get a loot crate a day for logging in. So I guess that does encourage people to log in every day just to get the loot crates, but...
Yeah, and it's not just that you're getting the weapons and the upgrades. It's that they're based on a tier system. So you could get one card, but it might be a bronze tier, so it's not going to be as good as that same card on a silver or gold tier.
And those crates, you have to spend more on, I'm guessing, for higher tier, or is it just random?
It's all random.
Oh, okay.
It's all random, but you can. It's going to take you a while to be able to afford these crates through the in-game currency. So you could say, "Oh, I got $50, so I'll just buy a bunch of crates and have a lot more shots at having some good gear."
Yeah, that kind of stinks. I don't love that, but we'll see. If it's broken, it's going to be known pretty quickly because right away people are going to have awesome gear and everyone else is going to be struggling to keep up.
Oh, day one. It'll be day one.
That's the only thing I'm really disappointed in is Battlefront 2 was supposed to fix a lot of the things, or almost all the things, that was wrong with Battlefront 1, and maybe the story mode will be the redeeming factor, but if this is just another problem that they're going to have, like, it's so frustrating that they had to do this.
You know what was interesting? I thought Star Wars The Old Republic did this right, is they wanted to add this kind of system in where people could pay for items to improve the gameplay for themselves, but they didn't want it to actually, well, not improve, I guess improve the experience is the right word. They didn't want it to actually have to be a pay-to-win system. So what they did was you could pay money to get stuff that strictly affected cosmetics. So, like, if I wanted my person to have a specific color lightsaber, I could spend money to get that. But it wasn't any different than the standard lightsaber that you would, colored lightsaber that you'd get. I thought that was a good way of doing it. The same thing with, like, skins and different alien races and costumes and outfits. And they had pets in that game, so you could, like, have a little thing following you around. So you could pay money for that stuff, but it wasn't going to give you an advantage in combat.
Right. And I like
so
that.
I thought that was a smart idea of a way you can get money from people who are interested in the cosmetics, but the people who aren't, they can do it the regular way, and everyone's going to be on an even playing field when it comes to combat and how strong they are. So very good. We'll move on to our last item to debate and talk about. This one I'm really excited about. And I had heard about this through the grapevine, and I it slipped my mind. And then I was talking with a friend of the show, Tim, the other day, and he's a listener, and he was telling me about MoviePass, the MoviePass app. And this, I think, could change a lot of things, but I'm not sure if it's going to be executed correctly. So what prevents you guys, Chase and Kyle, from going to the movies all the time?
Money, time, effort, caring about movies that are actually there.
What about you, Kyle?
I would say ditto.
Okay, so
Sometimes I have to remember that a movie's out.
The first thing you said was money, though.
What's that?
Right? The first thing you said was money, right? That's the big one for anyone, I think, right?
Sure.
There's a lot of movies that I'm interested in, but I have to decide, am I willing to go there? Because I know when I go to the movie theater, I'm going to be shelling out money because I'm going to get tickets. I'm not going to get a ticket from just me. I'm going to get a ticket from my wife. Then we're going to get popcorn. She's going to want a soda and some candy. So
You're doing it wrong. You need to sneak in candy.
I know. So
No, you don't.
all said and done, you're talking about a $50
we don't
night.
promote that at Geek-Cetera.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
So all
kinda
said and
do.
done, you're talking about a $50 night to go see a movie, if not more. What if someone said if you paid a subscription, a fee, and that let you see a movie every single day of that month? What would that price be?
I think we've talked about this, not in that exact format where you can see a movie every day of the month, but having like a pay-per-view option where you can have a bunch of friends over and watch movies like that.
No, this is you're going to the movies. You're going to the movies. You're paying a subscription price. What is in your mind the value of that?
Probably more than I'm willing to pay.
To me,
What is it?
Well, I don't know.
This is we're debating this. I want to hear what you think the value of that is.
To be able to just go see a movie every day of the month. One movie.
Only one movie a day, but every day of the month you can go see a movie.
Is it how much I think it should be worth or how much I'm willing to pay for it?
What would you be willing to put on that price tag?
Okay.
Personally,
What would
probably...
I probably
Okay.
would be willing to pay $30.
Okay,
I probably
$30 a month. You would pay,
And I
or
would
you think
probably
that's a
wouldn't-
fair
I
value?
don't know.
I'm just curious. This is interesting. It really is.
All right, I'm gonna go with 30.
Okay. What about you, Chase?
I was going to go with 15 or 20 just because I'm not always I'm hardly ever at the movie theater. There's never anything there that interests me, so I rarely ever go. It'd be for like Star Wars, basically. That's what it gets used for.
For me, I was personally thinking about $20, right? Because I was thinking if you go and see 2 movies a month, that's about $20, right?
Oh, it's more.
Probably more, right? So I want to give myself a deal. Now, what if I told you $9.95?
So it's basically Netflix.
$9.95, and you can click on the link there that I put in the show notes now that'll bring you to MoviePass. It's $9.95 per month, and you can see any movie. Obviously, they have different plans. So this $9.95 plan is for standard movies, not IMAX, not 3D. They have plans for 3D and IMAX, but this is just for a regular movie, which is what actually how I like. I don't really care for 3D. I don't mind IMAX, but I'm not going to spend extra for it. And all the movie theaters in our area, because I've checked, are on the list. Silence. I don't know if that's good silence or bad silence.
Well, I'm thinking about it, right?
It's impressive that they're able to do it that cheap, and honestly kind of annoying. Because that means for me now, if I don't have this pass and I want to go see these 2 movies a month, I'm spending, 2 or 3 times the amount that somebody who has it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Like, so that means they can sell these movies for cheaper. They're just not doing it because they're jerks.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
No,
not
what this
necessarily
is-
true.
This is
So-
what this is.
Okay.
This is the Planet Fitness, Gold's Gym, all the gym memberships. This is what they do, right? They are selling memberships for $19.95, $14.95, $19.99, whatever it is. That usually it's about $10, $15, $20 a month. But if everyone that owned a membership to Planet Fitness down the road, right, showed up on the same day, there is not enough equipment for them to use. They're hedging their bet that more people are going to pay every month but not go.
And that makes sense because
so they're hedging their bet that this is going to make you go to the movie theater regularly, which means you're gonna, unless you're like Chase who sneaks stuff in, you're going to buy a Coke, you're going to buy a popcorn, you're going to buy a candy, you're going to be doing that more regularly because you're going more than once a month. So they're figuring that they're going to make up for this for your ticket prices that they're losing in that the fact that you're going regularly and you're buying all these other things, or that you're not going at all and they're getting your money and you didn't even see a movie.
First of all, I gotta say, when I said $30, I was thinking me and Sarah. So I guess my valuation would be more around 15.
Right,
and it makes sense.
For a couple, you're gonna get another one. You're not just gonna get one.
Yeah. So we just booked our tickets for Last Jedi. For Sarah and myself to go, it's $24, rounding up. I know I'm going to see it 3 times. I saw the last 2 movies 3 times. So for us, that's close to $75. What came out this year? Oh, Spider-Man Homecoming. I know I saw that.
Yep.
So that's $100.
Spend $20 more. You're going to go see Thor Ragnarok.
You're right. I'm gonna see Thor. But in a year's time, maybe that's it. So $120, but that's 2 people. So $60 a piece. So for MoviePass, that's $240 for the both of us. So yeah, they'd make money on me.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this is going to make you go to more movies. Like now, if there's a movie that I remotely think that looks good, I'm going to go see it. Right? Like even if I just have an inkling of, I'd like to see that, but maybe I'll wait till it comes out on theater. No, I'm going to go see it because I got to get my $10 worth. And to me, that means I got to go as much as possible.
I guess so.
So is this something that you are going to buy?
I haven't decided yet. I'm waiting because this is brand spanking new, right? People, the brand new. So I want to hear the reviews. My friend Tim, he's going to let me know how it works. So what happens is when you sign up online, you download the app and you sign up, and they send you a card, like
a credit card.
MoviePass card that looks almost like a credit card. That card you need to be able to use in the app. So until you get that card, and I guess it can take 2 to 3 weeks to get it, and they don't start charging you until the day you receive the card. So that's a nice thing too. Like if you start paying the $9.95, they're not going to say, okay, it starts effectively. They're going to say it starts the day you get your card. So they're at least looking out for you that way. Now, he showed me the app. You can go to the movie theaters that are in your area. It works with your location services, so you can see where you are. It will show you all the movie theaters in the area. In our area, it had every one that I normally go to, even some of the smaller ones like Red River and Concord. That's a very small theater.
I actually have I get in for free with my work ID at Red River.
Red River?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see all the movie theaters. You click on the movie theater you want to go to, and it shows you the movies and the movie times and everything. When you click on the movie time you want to go to, it will ask you. This is the one thing that I thought was interesting, and I understand why they did it. It will say, you have to be within 100 yards of the movie theater. So I can't be sitting on my couch and go, I want to go to Hooks at 8, Regal. I have to be in the parking lot for it to work. So that stinks because that means I got to look to see if there's tickets there before I head out and then get to the parking lot and then do it. But this is the reason they do that, and it makes sense. If I'm sitting at my couch, I can say, I might want to go see that movie tonight. So I'm going to do it. And if I don't make it, no big deal. Now, they can't sell that ticket because I've already reserved it. So it makes sense as to why they would say, I have to be in the parking lot before it will work.
Yeah, I like that and I don't, because like I said, or like you said, if I'm going to go to the theater, I want to reserve seats ahead of time to know that I'm not driving out to Hooks-Cetera or driving out to Manchester and then being like, oh, nope, they're all sold out.
So
the only seat is a corner seat in the front row.
Well, I mean, it's easy enough to check. This is what I was thinking, because I always check anyways to see if there's tickets available, especially when we go to Regal. You get to pick your seats. So you check to see what the seats are available before you head out. You don't just, show up. If you're not going to a Regal, it doesn't matter. As long as there's a seat, it's just how early you get there. You're going to pick your own seat. Well, you know what I mean. You're so immature.
Yeah, Chase, you're so immature.
So when you go to pick the movie you want to go to, and you pick the timing, and it's going to say, are you within 100 yards, or it's going to know whether you're within 100 yards of it, and it's going to ask you to put your movie card number in. So you enter your movie card number, it says your seats are reserved. You literally walk in the door, you give them your MoviePass card, they slide it, and your tickets are printed, and you walk in. And it didn't cost you anything except for your subscription fee. So
you know what? I don't think it's a no-brainer. I don't think I'm gonna get this, unless
Really?
it's something that I can sign up for and cancel pretty easily.
yeah, you can. They said that there's no commitment. So
Really?
you can sign up. Yeah.
Are you okay? Well, then it doesn't follow into the model of a gym membership, because if you sign up for a gym membership, you're
Right.
locked in for 12 months. But that 12 months is more like 3 to 5 years.
See, it's interesting to me because it's almost like if there's no commitment and you can cancel at any time, like it's seriously no commitment. If I'm going to a single movie this month, I might as well pay the $19.95 for both me and my wife.
Yeah.
But the problem is it takes 2 to 3 weeks for you to get your card. So unless you can cancel and keep the same card and then sign up again and keep the same card. I don't know if
you're
that will
right.
work that way.
Yeah, I
but
doubt
the
it
2
will.
to 3 weeks thing kind of stinks because, if I know, okay, in November I'm probably going to go see Thor Ragnarok, I might as well sign up for this.
Yeah.
At least for November, right? But I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. I'm not excited about it.
I'm super excited. I want to find out more, for sure. But to me, it's a no-brainer. $19.95 is less than a regular ticket. The tickets that you just bought were more than $19.95.
Yeah, you're right. But I also told you I spent about $120 just in tickets. That's not including concession prices, but about $120 in tickets last year if I'm not forgetting any movies that I saw. I don't know. It's not worth it for me, I don't think.
I think it's worth it. I'm seriously considering it. My wife really liked the idea, and she said, because we've been kicking around the idea of getting rid of cable, and she's like, if we got rid of the cable, I would do this in a heartbeat, because then we'd be watching Hulu and going to see movies more. And I said, yeah, you're right. And I actually really enjoy the movie experience. There's something about sitting in a theater I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not 100% saying yes, I am getting this for sure, but I am definitely interested in it.
I'm leery. What about you, Chase?
Yeah, I don't go to the movies enough for it to be worth it. I'm in the same boat as Kyle, where I probably, and especially because I don't have to pay for anybody else but myself, and I do sneak in food, so I don't have to worry about those costs either. My costs are whatever it costs me to get food at the dollar store. I don't know, I probably spent $30, $40 on movies this year, if that. And that's including whenever I pay Kyle for the Last Jedi stuff. I don't go to movies enough for it to be worth it.
Interesting. Well, I thought you guys would be more interested in this. I'm curious to know what
It's a cool
Luke
idea,
thinks.
and I think somebody who goes to the movies a lot.
Luke
it's
goes to the
definitely-
movies all the time. Are you kidding me?
Luke goes to the movies all the time, but he's got a really cheap movie theater in his area.
Oh, Luke is going to save thousands of dollars on this. Literally thousands of dollars.
He does see everything. There is nothing to do where he lives except go to the movies. So as long as his movie theater is in the thing, I think he's going to save a lot of money. Yeah, I think you're right. He goes to see like 2 movies a week.
Yeah.
So, but surprisingly, he never has time to podcast.
Surprisingly. Now I wonder
I'm curious.
I wonder if when you go to the theater you're gonna have to show your ID.
Possibly. I don't know.
That's the only way it would make sense to me. Because Netflix, Hulu, they're always concerned about people sharing their accounts. They've limited viewings and stuff like that. So the movie theater has to be concerned about that. I bet you're going to have to show your ID. You're not going to be able to share this pass.
So with that, I really want to ask any of our listeners who are listening, if this interests you, I'd love to hear from you guys. Even if you're not sure, I'd just love to hear what you think. I want to know, because I want to know if I'm missing something. This to me seems like it's too good to be true. And oftentimes when things are too good to be true, there's something they are. Yeah, I'm cynical like that.
I don't think it's too good to be true. I think it's a good deal. I think it's legit. But there's a lot of people like me and like Chase who it probably just wouldn't be worth it. Like I've paid for Spotify a couple times, and I find myself like a couple months later, hey, I still have this, but I haven't listened to this in a long time. So I think that would happen with the movies too. And with myself, scheduling is just so tight. I don't have time to go to the movies.
Yeah. I guess I understand the time thing. I think that you make time. I don't know. I think that, especially for us, like I was really because we try to talk about the newest stuff, but there's a lot. We don't have unlimited resources, so there's a lot of movies where just like I'm gonna wait. But
that's true.
With this, I would be going to see all these movies so we could talk about them.
Actually, that's true. If I had this, that's the one resource that I'd use it for, because I'd like to see it once as a fan and then go back immediately, like the next day or the day after, and look at it through an analytical point of view to be able to have more to bring to the table. So there is value in it for that. So maybe we can charge it to the Geek-Cetera account.
Yeah, when we start making money, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure like CinemaSins or everything great about those type of people will probably get a lot out of these, where they have to watch a movie 10 times to make all these funny, witty remarks about it.
So let me know what you guys think, our listeners. If you have this, if you've heard something, if there's something that we're missing, please send us an email. Let us know. Geek-Cetera@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And with that being said, we actually have some listener mail from this past week, and I'm really excited. I know we've gotten some listener mail in the past, but I love the idea of getting listener mail. I want to make this a major part of the podcast, where every week we're talking about those who have reached out to us, because this is a community-based thing. And we want to talk to our not fans, but listeners. I don't think anyone's a fan of us, because fan comes from the word fanatic. And if you're a fanatic about us, then you need a life. But so we got an email from
that hurts.
Sorry, we got an email from a listener named Celestial Air, and I just wanted to read a part of what
air. Okay, air. I got it. Not hair. That's cool.
Oh my goodness!
Well, I thought maybe
Celestial
he was a fan
Air.
of that guy from My Hero Academia.
Oh, no. Celestial Air said, and I'm not going to read his whole entire email, but part of it, a good part of it. He said, over the past 2 days, I've been catching up while at work, and I'm really enjoying it. Talking about the show. He said, you guys crack me up, especially with all of Kyle's far-fetched theories and the inevitable tangents that develop. Geek-Cetera also makes me realize how far behind I am on all my geeky entertainment, and gives me new things I want to check out constantly. But, so he says some nice things, but he's got a complaint.
We don't have time for butts.
One complaint, he says, Episode 5, when you guys are talking about why R2-D2 and C-3PO don't tell Luke about everything about his dad, you clearly don't remember that they say they are going to wipe their memory banks at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Prevent Vader from finding out about Luke and Leia. I can't remember whether or not they wipe all their memories or just the information involving the kids, but it explains why they don't say anything. And I totally forgot about that. He's 100% right. They do say that. They clear up that loose end, and somehow when we were talking about it, it slipped my mind.
Okay, I think that they did wipe C-3PO's memory. I don't think that happened with R2.
I don't think so either.
I don't know.
I think
they said the
R2
droids.
still has all his memories from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, R2 just knows, like, especially the way he acts at the beginning of episode 4. He's not just being a cantankerous little droid. He has a mission. He knows what he's doing.
And he knows Obi-Wan. He knows who he's going to search for. Like,
Yeah.
if they wipe his memories and then send him off with Bail, he's not going to remember Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan went into hiding. And so Bail isn't going to talk about, oh, hey, droid, remember this guy?
I don't know. I kind of think he said I got to go back to it, I guess, to really check. But I think he said wipe the droids.
He did.
He does.
I just feel like, and this is my fan fiction, that he didn't wipe R2's memory.
Yeah. I'm with Kyle. I think R2 remembers everything.
Everybody loves R2.
It's true.
Well,
And I mean
you can love
everybody
him
in the
and he
Star
can
Wars
wipe.
universe.
I think he got wiped.
All right.
So
You're right,
And-
though, Celestial Heir.
yeah, he is right. And then he had one more thing to say. He said, lastly, Kyle's grandmother is a legend for facing off with the cow. Keep creating great content. Really enjoyed it all so far. So that was from Celestial Air, and really happy he sent us an email. That's great. I want more emails. Let us know. Even if you're complaining about us, that's fine. Just let us know. We want to talk to our audience, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
So-
that doesn't mean, Luke, you can send us emails and complain. you need to like come here on a Wednesday night and complain. And also, I'm excited for you, Luke, because with this MoviePass thing, you're going to be able to afford to move back to New Hampshire.
That's true. Yeah, he's going to be able to save a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you switch
Come
to
back.
Geico.
Come back home, Luke. All right. So that was our show. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Geek-Cetera, and we invite you to join us next time for another thrilling adventure. But until then, never trust the monkeys.
If we can't live together, we're going to die alone.
Doomsday and Armageddon just had a baby, and it is ugly.
For more from the geeks, please check out geek-cetera.com. This podcast was brought to you by the Geek-Cetera team. Now this is podcasting.